First, as we previously reported over the weekend and on Friday, Donald Trump's plane was right next to Vladimir Putin's plane, the Russian embassy plane that made a stop at Dulles International Airport to pick up some diplomats who were leaving Washington, D.C. You see Donald Trump's plane right there. You see the Russian plane right there. It was joined by the United Arab Emirates plane, all right next to each other. This was captured by Andrew Layden. Hat tip to him. And over the weekend, you had all three planes, UAE, Russia plane, and Trump's plane, all next to each other. Also, want to talk about the posts that Donald Trump was making over the weekend and specifically on Sunday. Post after post, dozens of posts, post. And what was he posting? Things like this. Where we go one, we go all. This is a QAnon post right here. He's reposting an account called Spiritual Street Fighter 17. The QAnon slogan, which is a actual death cult, is where we go one, we go all. And Donald Trump is reposting that. Donald Trump has reposted over 1,500 QAnon posts in the past 18 months. We've been covering it here on the MeidasTouch network, but I guess when it comes to corporate media, if you have a bad debate or if your throat is a little bit sore, then that requires 5 op-eds in the New York Times to drop out of the race. But if you are an adjudicated sexual assaulter, convicted felon, found liable for civil fraud, bankrupted most of the companies that you have ever touched, and you continue to post did I mention, led an insurrection against the country and continue to post QAnon memes, and then just have your airplane just right next to the Russian embassy plane and the UAE plane. Whatevs. We're going to cover it here on the MeidasTouch network. What else was Donald Trump posting? He posted this. Elizabeth Lynn Cheney is guilty of treason. Read truth if you want televised military tribunals. The leader of the Republican Party calling for televised military tribunals against a Republican because she was part of the January 6th committee. Donald Trump also posted this photograph of President Biden. He also posted this bizarre photo of himself that says, the man who saved America, and he changed the American flag so that the American flag now says Trump. He also says, hold on, I'm coming. He says, I will totally obliterate the deep state. He posts this bizarre meme about the 2024 debate. He posts this bizarre meme of him as a boxer, which looks nothing like him. He posts this bizarre meme of a fake Time magazine cover. He then reposts the following with Steve Bannon reporting to prison today. Donald Trump reposts this quote from Steve Bannon. Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answers to save my country, this country will be saved. I stand with Steve Bannon, Donald Trump reposts. And then it says, if you want this corrupt globalist judge removed and charged, repost this. And it says, Juan Merchan, the same crooked judge that convicted Trump, has now sentenced Steve Bannon to 4 months in prison. You know, that's discernibly false right there. You know, the judge who sentenced Steve Bannon to prison is not Justice Merchan, it's Judge Nichols, a federal judge who Donald Trump appointed. But when it comes to MAGA, let them lie about everything. Let's just lie and say it wasn't the judge who Trump appointed, Judge Nichols. And let's just lie and say it was Justice Juan Merchan who's involved in the Trump sentencing. Again, just blatant falsehoods. And then, of course, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans would lean in and help a convicted criminal like Steve Bannon. Then Donald Trump posts this of former First Lady Michelle Obama and has this like edited photo of her that's where she's, I'm not proud of this country. And then he has this photo of Melania, who he cheated on with a porn star and multiple other people, and then bragged about sexually assaulting other women. And he met Melania at the Kit Kat Club through a modeling agency that imported Eastern European women. And then her whole backstory seems to be entirely untrue. And then it says, I became a citizen because I love this country. Donald Trump then reposts this. Who is running our country? If you don't feel safe with this couple having the nuclear codes, retruth it. And it's a photo of First Lady Dr. Jill Biden and President Biden. By the way, dozens of post over and over again. And then Donald Trump posts the following, weekend at Biden's. And this is what Donald Trump thinks is funny. By the way, while Donald Trump is doing that, I think it reeks of desperation, because still, if you look at like the aggregate of polls from 538, Biden's actually up post debate, because the political punditry class from Washington, D.C. and from New York, I don't think they quite realize that to Americans who are currently experiencing life or death issues if Donald Trump were to come into power, and real Americans who actually realize the benefits that President Biden brought them and don't look at this with the privilege and luxury of trying to have these philosophical debates. They recognize the existential threat that Donald Trump poses. And to a lot of people, you could watch that debate and say, you know what? Biden was not a good debater. Biden was off. He didn't look that good. The optics were bad. He stuttered. Sure, all accurate, but he told the truth. He actually answered the questions, and he's someone who would protect and preserve democracy, whereas Donald Trump behaved like a ranting, raving lunatic the entire time and quite literally said a lie every time his mouth started moving. But you've got Biden up as well, and again, some of these post-debate polls, and I'm not big on polls, but I'm just trying to share with you that the fact that corporate media, they want to go poll, and then even post-debate where it's not reflecting what they're saying, and they're like, oh, let's just go with our gut, and we thought that Biden didn't do a good job, so let's push for that. Meanwhile, when it comes to an adjudicated sexual assault or convicted felon insurrectionist, and Donald Trump will just be like, whatever. By the way, remember that Liz Cheney meme that I showed you before that Donald Trump posted about holding live military tribunals on TV? Donald Trump's top supporters like Jack Posobiec and others responded, military tribunals, yes, it's coming in 6 months. Military tribunals for the entire J6 Unselect Committee. This will be a great day. We need military tribunals. We, the people, want you to answer for the J6 Committee show trial. Careful, Liz, your panic is showing. He's right. Vote out. Lock all of them up. Get that neck snapping and those undies full of crapping. This is what MAGA is, and I think the American people recognize the threat of that. Oh, guess who is in Moscow recently? Kanye West. Kanye West arrived in Moscow staying at the Four Seasons Hotel right next to the Kremlin. And guess what happened on June 8th? Putin seized the 5-star Four Seasons right next to the Kremlin. The former owner was imprisoned for 9 years a few months back. It's exactly what Donald Trump wants to do here in the United States. He'll imprison people, take their money, and that's what Donald Trump's after, and that's what Donald Trump's up to. Meanwhile, you talk about the post from President Biden. He says the following: freeing hardworking Americans from the crushing burden of student debt means millions would finally have the confidence to buy their first home, open a business, or start a family. Debt relief is about dignity, but it's good for our economy too. To the entire LGBTQI plus community, know that I see you who you are, made in the image of God and deserving the dignity, respect, and support. Or President Biden posts a detailed plan. How about that? Detailed plans for the American people. President Biden writes, while Republican elected officials push extreme abortion bans, At VP and I will continue to fight for access to reproductive health care and call on Congress to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade. Since Roe v. Wade was overturned, the Biden-Harris administration has acted to 1. Help ensure that women receive the care they need in an emergency. 2. Protect access to safe and effective medication abortion. 3. Defend the right to travel for medical care. 4. Expand access to affordable contraception, including under the Affordable Care Act. 5. Strengthen privacy protection for patients and doctors. 6. Support access to reproductive health care for service members and veterans. 7. Partner with state leaders on the front lines of protecting reproductive freedom. Wow, like actual things, a list, detail, how he's going to be protecting women's reproductive rights versus Donald Trump posting QAnon memes, actual weirdo death cult memes. Are you kidding me? Then President Biden posted this as well. Unlike the other guy, I'll continue standing up against dictators like Putin because America bows to no one. And here's what President Biden said at the recent speech he gave, and he posted this. Let's play that clip.
And unlike the other guy, we're going to stand up to dictators like Putin because America bows to no one. No one ever.
And then, of course, you have a new CBS YouGov poll that says 54% of registered voters say that Donald Trump should not be running for president, that Trump should not be running for president. So can we just focus on the data, folks? And speaking of focusing on the data, that's something that I would like to do. And you know who focuses on the data? Mike Madrid, former top Republican operative, now a pro-democracy warrior. Here's what Mike Madrid said on a recent panel that he spoke at the other day. Play this clip. Yes, and I care about data. You know the type of data that I care about? How about we take a look at what actual historian who's correctly predicted all the U.S. elections, what he has to say. Here is Alan Lichtman, and here's what he's got to say when he goes, can we focus on the data, please? Play this clip.
All of these pundits and pollsters and analysts that you see on all the cable channels and all the networks have no track record in predicting elections. And yet they come on and they claim they know how this debate is going to affect the outcome of elections. They have no idea. It's sports talk radio. It may be entertaining, but it has no scientific basis.
So what is the impact, do you think?
Zero. Debates are not predictive of outcomes. Hillary Clinton won all 3 debates, still lost. John Kerry won all the debates, still lost. Barack Obama got trounced, 72 to 20% in the poll, worse than Biden, and went on to win. That's why we rely on the 13 keys which tap into the structure of how elections really work. And they show that Democrats' really only chance to win, contrary to everything you've heard, is with Biden running. Look at the incumbency key. Biden checks that off. The contest key, he checks that off. He was uncontested. It takes 6 keys to count out the White House party.
But you know,
that means
Alan,
of the remaining 11 keys, 6 would have to fall. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Biden doesn't run. They lose the contest key. They lose the incumbency, and only 4 more keys would have to fall.
I think that that's actually kind of what I was trying to get at here, is that the problem right now is that the Democratic Party is considering replacing Biden mostly because it's unclear whether or not he actually physically can carry out the rest of this campaign and put up a fight against his opponent. So that seems like a fundamentally different thing than some of the items that you have in your rubric.
It's a huge mistake. They're not doctors. They don't know whether Biden is physically capable of carrying out a second term or not. Remember, a lot of folks were saying the same thing about Ronald Reagan, who was, 73, and age was very different then. And they said, he's not capable of carrying out another term. He won 49 states. So this is all foolhardy nonsense. The same pundits and pollsters who led us down the primrose path in 2016 are giving the Democrats horrible advice. This proves what I've been saying for years. Republicans have no principles. Democrats have no spine. Republicans are sticking with a blatant liar who lied for every 1 minute and 20 seconds of that debate. Donald Trump put out a lie. And by the way, lies stick. debate performances can be overcome. And now the first sign of adversity, the spineless Democrats want to throw under the bus their own incumbent president. My goodness.
So there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. And it's time we rally for our democracy. It's just that simple. This, to me, isn't about Democrat, Republican, independent, liberal, progressive, conservative, whatever. This is about the existential threat posed by the Trump movement and MAGA, which is not mainstream Republican, which is not conservative. And it's important that we all rally for our democracy. It's that simple. You see those posts that Trump's making? You want to hear that every day for 4 years and him try to actually act on it with Project 2025? That's no. This is the United States of America, damn it. Again, hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.